First, they pulled the alarm because the alarm was ringing, and then they put tables and chairs to block it. Like they stuffed that elevator with furniture, so it was done. So I couldn't go down, and I I basically managed to, someone was able to calm me down and say, look, I'm going to let you out. We're going to let you out. We're going to let you out. Just calm down. I was freaking out. At that point,
What?
I'm
How did
thinking
you
about my
feel?
family. Right?
Why did you freak out?
Why did I freak out? How was I going to get out through the window? No. And look, and I'm glad I did because I know the cops went in there, and there was a story about a cop, discharging his firearm. Let's say they stormed in early. They wouldn't know who we are. It's just scary just thinking that you're locked in with a bunch of crazies. What I want to get out. That's the only thing you're thinking of is getting out.
Hey folks, how you doing? Well, I wanted to show this because this has been floating around. Some of you might be familiar with this meme. But yeah, John and Yoko waiting for the maid to make the bed so they can continue protesting against the system. This says it all, where we're at right here. And as you can see from the title of the video, or if you haven't looked at it, they're starting to attack the janitors now. Yeah, that's where we are, especially at Columbia. And this is where Mario Torres is a janitor, and I think in Hamilton Hall. But I wanted to show this because this really sums up the entire issue right here. Why do people get angry? Why is this so frustrating? Why, when you hear a janitor getting attacked, you go, wait, a janitor who makes $19 an hour for the past 5 years, working, cleaning the turds, all the urine, cleaning up the bongs, the weed residue, vacuuming up everybody's crap in these halls, they get attacked by these same people. Okay? And there is a little more to this story than just him being attacked. But the being attacked part, of course, is harsh. This is severe. So, also for Mario, by the way, this is he has a GoFundMe set up, and I'll leave a link to that if you want to help him out, because for being attacked, for being approached, he's actually now fearful that Columbia University failing to do the job that they should have done, which is protect their employees, which is not what they did, okay? For allowing him to be attacked, I'm pretty sure he could probably take a civil case against Columbia, although the guy has no money. Okay, and he's afraid now that he might even be fired by them. And I'll tell you, in this day and age where of lefty radicals, I wouldn't be surprised if they did that. Remember, there was a time. What's going on these campuses? It's astounding. There are armbands now that you have to wear that indicate where you can and cannot go on campus. And I thought, wow, or they're wristbands, I think. But I thought, in 1939, there was an Austrian artist, a very embittered and Austrian artist, who did the same thing to Jews. He made them wear armbands to indicate who they were to the public and where they could go. So in their efforts to be the great hippies, the free love hippies, they have come full circle, as a lot of people could see. A lot of people who normally just go to work and do their jobs and try to take care of their families, the rest of us could see this coming, that these are actually just terrorists, these protesters. They're terrorists. So, swarmed by an angry mob, custodian of the Columbia University speaks out in the Free Press. Now, I showed you just a teeny segment of a 20-minute interview, so I won't show you that whole thing, but we'll focus on a few key points here. Okay? Now, let's see. Let's go down here. So he said that, Francesca Block, who was interviewing him, had mentioned this. She says, as the mob invaded Hamilton Hall, where he worked, Mario Torres was a custodian. In the early hours of April 30th, a facilities worker was photographed pushing a demonstrator against the wall to protect himself because he was mobbed, and it was all planned. Okay, it was all planned to attack whoever came in. Later, it emerged that the protester was a 40-year-old trust fund kid that he shoved against the wall named James Carlson. Of course, a trust fund kid. Why would a champagne socialist not be involved? Of course they would. Named James Carlson, who owns a townhouse in Brooklyn worth $2.3 million. The man who tried to hold him back was Mario Torres, 45, who has worked at Columbia, where the average janitor makes less than $19 an hour for 5 years. This piece of shit right here on the left, this is James Carlson. This is the, see with the belly? This is the trust fund baby, okay, who has nothing riding on the line. He has millions of dollars available to him the rest of his days. Okay, he has nothing riding on the line but to just cause division and protest. Remember, these are champagne socialists. They have the money and the backing to do this. This guy, Mario Torres, who makes $19 an hour, less than McDonald's employees in California, he doesn't have that luxury of doing stuff like this. He has to go and clock in, okay? So, yeah, he's a trust fund baby who lives in a multi-million-dollar home, James Carlson. Torres is your average blue-collar worker trying to protect himself and his workplace. So this is the metaphor you're getting here now. Okay, now the good news is that James Carlson has been charged with 5 felonies, but again, it's New York, so this probably he will get a slap on the wrist. Okay, Torres said, "We don't expect to go to work and get swarmed by an angry mob with rope and duct tape and masks and gloves." Well, you can only imagine somebody with rope, duct tape, masks, and gloves only has the best of intentions, right? They came from both sides of the staircases. They came through the elevators, and they were just rushing. It was just like they had a plan, which they did. Mario said protesters with zip ties, duct tape, and masks just multiplied and multiplied. At one point, he remembers looking up, and I noticed the cameras are covered. It made him think this was definitely planned, like they had a plan. Imagine that. So he said, of course, he immediately just started thinking about his family, as most people would, except these protesters. They would think about themselves, okay? They would just be like, I don't care about anybody else. Torres has not been to campus since the incident. He says he does not feel safe. I think he should be getting paid right now for not being protected by Columbia, okay? Torres has not been to campus since the incident. He says he does not feel safe. When it comes to the public safety, the worker safety, people don't feel comfortable walking through a mob to punch in to get into campus for their job. That's crazy. He added that he's worried, and this is true, this I can understand. He's worried Columbia might take disciplinary action against him. Yes, you heard that right, against him for speaking out, okay, and doing this interview. He worries about losing a job he loves. He worries about supporting his young family. Is Columbia going to retaliate and find a reason to fire me in this day and age? They might. Is someone going to come after me? So I'm taking a big risk doing this, but I think that they failed. They failed us, and I think that's the bigger story. They failed us. They should have done more to protect us, and they didn't yet. They absolutely failed in their job. And with the donors to these campuses, like Qatar being one of the principal donors, where Hamas's headquarters are, I don't think they care. I think they have much more allegiance to these people than a janitor. And do they care about his life? I highly doubt it. So, this is why I believe that pressure from donors like Qatar, George Soros, etc., could possibly come down and fire this guy or get rid of him. He could sue them back, and I think this GoFundMe simply is to help him. But he has a good case to make for a civil case. We'll see if any attorneys have reached out. I don't know if they have, but I sure hope so. But he does have a pretty good rock solid civil suit. We hope that he sues him. So there is a GoFundMe, as I said, and there is the video was about the whole interview is about 20 minutes long. But of course, this is not being none of this is being at all put in the corporate news right now. No corporate news agency is going to show this at all. We'll see. We'll see, but only a few have shown this. And the Free Press, they did a good job. They're not even conservative, but they are willing to embrace all viewpoints, and that's what I like about them. So Yehuda Teitelbaum says, wow, good on him for speaking out. Columbia is failing their students, their faculty, and even their janitorial staff. Yeah, you've met the lowest rung on the bar when you've failed your janitorial staff. The people who clean up your shit after you're done, literally your shit, the faculty, the president. Oh, by the way, President of Columbia, there's a janitor out there who just cleaned up a big turd that you dumped. Okay, just to let you know, while you're sitting there drinking champagne at a party, he's probably scraping the toilet bowl that you just dumped in. Okay, just to let you know. And yes, I'm being subtle, aren't I? Taurus is brave, and the protesters and university are cowards. Well, yes, because they're terrorists. This is what terrorists do. That's why I call them the Hamas protesters. They aren't protesting for Palestine at all. This has nothing to do with helping those people over there in any sense at all. These are Hamas protesters. They are protesting on behalf of a terrorist group. That's their job. Oh yeah, one little side note here, and I might do a separate video on this, but it has emerged, of course, James Carlson was the guy. Was that white dude getting his butt kicked by the janitor? Well, just getting shoved against the wall. Yeah, he's that trust fund baby who has a townhouse that's worth millions. And he is a trust fund child of, I forget who, but I'll have to do a deeper dive on that. But doesn't that just symbolize the entire thing of, and so I think, boy, Hamas protesters, you're doing a horrible job on your advertising here. So to go after a janitor, but they've ruined their reputations long ago. Eric Owen says this millionaire trustafarian douchebag, Columbia protester James Carlson, okay, this 40-year-old guy who reportedly owns a $2 million townhouse, got into a serious physical fight with a janitor who was doing his janitor job and making about $20 an hour. That's really helping the oppressed. If workers at Columbia don't feel safe when the students become a mob, what is it like for other Jewish students? I agree. It's pretty bad. Yeah, better get your armbands on because that's what they're passing out. They're passing out wristbands where you can go and where you can't go on campus, where you're allowed to go. Yeah. On one side, you had a criminal mob led by a 40-year-old entitled white trust fund brat, playing activist, and on the other hand, you had a Hispanic working-class facilities worker who was attacked while trying to do his job. It says a lot about those who decided the former are their heroes. Like I said, we've come full circle from the free love, we love diversity, equity, inclusion, to what their real intent was simply to make you shut up. And if you haven't seen right now that Democrats, radical leftists, these people right now at this point are essentially the racists, the haters. These people don't like anybody who pushes back against their narrative or has a different opinion. If you haven't realized that by now, that the Democrat Party truly still is the KKK, they still are the racists. If you haven't seen Kathy Hochul's comment today or yesterday on that she says that people in Brooklyn, black kids in Brooklyn don't know what computers are. They don't know how to work a computer. Yeah, nothing's changed. The Democrats still look at minority groups of people as underlings, as not smart enough, right? That's Joe Biden said that plenty of times. So If you think that you're in the party of goodness and wholesomeness, you are highly, highly mistaken at this point, I believe. So, but that's just my opinion, okay? I'm just saying, by their fruits you shall know them, right? And so I'm seeing a lot of virtue signaling, but then on the other hand, at nighttime, these guys go in and vandalize halls, beat up janitors, and beat up Jews. And to me, I say, well, whatever you said about loving people and helping Palestinians, I don't think this has anything to do with it. Because the majority of these incidents, like in Portland, you burned 15 police cars. Yeah, this isn't reported in the corporate news. You just burned and destroyed 15 police cars. I don't believe this is for Palestine or any children or anybody in Palestine. This is simply you are working on behalf of the Hamas terrorists. That's what you do. That's your thing. It's okay. It's not okay, but it's okay that you decided that, and it's okay to confess. It's okay to tell everybody. But they really want us to believe that they're there to help somebody, but they're not. Okay, so it says people really need to go back and study more about the Red Guard in China's Cultural Revolution. Yes, this is not a movement that cares about people of color or the working class. Obviously not. Columbia faculty who glamorize this should be ashamed. Blue Shift blog says the janitor met the school's product. The administration has allowed this culture of hate to flourish while they pat themselves on the back for being anti-hate. Thus, the toxicity of virtue signaling. Virtue signaling comes to a point where it's done so much that what you get is it comes full circle, and for the sake of apparently Palestine, you are setting up an entire hall and then jumping a janitor. Okay, covering up the cameras, filling the elevator with furniture so he can't escape. You prevented all avenues of escape. This doesn't seem to be what you say it is. Anti-hate, anti-racism, Antifa, they all mean the exact opposite. Yes, but that's Machiavellian. That's what you do. Listen, a wolf in sheep's clothing is going to tell you it's a sheep, right? Like Antifa. Oh, we're anti-fascist. But then you say, yeah, but you're a fascist. Your actions are fascist. And they go, oh, well, Antifa means anti-fascist. And I'm like, yeah, like I said, a wolf in sheep's clothing is going to call themselves a sheep. People doing fascist stuff are going to tell you they are anti-fascist, right? People who hate, they're going to tell you, I'm anti-hate. People who are racist are going to go, I am anti-racist. Okay? So, yep. Anyway, you get the point. So we'll see how this continues, and I'm going to do a little profile on the guy his background, on the guy the white dude, the white 40-year-old trust fund baby, James Carlson, who attacked this guy. So anyway, thanks for watching, folks. Let me know what you think. Please put a like on the video if you like, and please subscribe. It'll help with the algorithm, and I will talk to you later. Bye.